Fit again, and hello, it's Vo, and welcome back to Turbine City. Last time we'd got a few extra unique buildings. We've still got one more that we'd never placed last time. The Quad World Series buildings. The Central World A, B, and C. We'll get them popped in. They're modular, so we don't have to place them in the right order. Maybe pop in a few more things along this road and then leave the rest of the space, maybe make a park out of it. Since it's a large enough area. It's got an interesting natural terrain in it. This building's a bit big for that location. Maybe get it in somewhere near the airport. Be a nice guiding light for the planes. Recognizable landmark for them. I'll see that from miles away. It's massive. So we'll see what our complaints are. Doesn't look too bad at the moment. Our tourism areas. Can replace some buildings with some of these unique buildings if they're skinny enough and can fit in. So we'll have a look through, see what we've got. I'll try and spread them out a bit. As I say, if our area is complaining they're not getting enough customers, we can easily move some of these smaller unique buildings that'll fit in. Replace that zoning that isn't working. We can maybe get things on this crossroads. Depends on the zoning. If there's houses, there are some low density houses nearby. Maybe move these things. Definitely move the bigger one. This is fine in amongst all these shops and things. Beethoven Memorial is pretty small. We've got a little. We'll fit that in over here somewhere. Again, that'll take up some space. Remember, we've left little strips of ones of zoning. We'll get rid of them. Yeah, we'll just keep cutting back on the leisure and tourism areas until they stop complaining, basically. We'll pop in more of our unique buildings. Still got space over here. I think we're going to be in the shadow of this big building, but again, if we place there, it's going to be in the shadow of the big building. I'm surprised at how tall it is. It's definitely the tallest Skylines building I've ever seen. It's quite something. So things are looking good. As I say, just little tweaks to get rid of all the complaints. Tidy everything up, make me happy. Where we've moved our assets, we've moved them out of the power and water area. Increase our coverage, make sure we've got everything covered for water and power. We'll have to put in our monorail lines at some point, but we'll wait until we've got more assets. We know where we're going to with them. I'd rather develop the area fully and then make the connections. Get everything hooked up here. Plenty more unique buildings and things we can add in. Want to raise the terrain at some point over near the castle. We can maybe get cable cars taking people up the hill. This beach resort doesn't look too bad. So yeah, this can be a fun area for tourists. take them up by a cable car. Then we'll maybe make another hill for the observatory or something. Over here, I'm not sure we're going to need industrial. Maybe make offices or something. Over in this area, I'd like to put in more residential at some point. Can maybe get it lined with offices. Have a look at some of our industrial. See if we need to swap it out for offices. We're still getting complaints for the lack of tourists for our hotels and things. Maybe check in a couple of parks here. Could put in a Burger King. And then maybe a KFC next to it. And a little park somewhere for people to sit, eat their lunch. That'll trim down just the buildings that are complaining. I don't think we need to reduce things by much. Just little by little, until we strike that perfect balance. We're getting our little 1 square monument. A little Beethoven statue. Another Quadrilater's building. Get that in. Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff over here. Maybe pop in a few more offices round about it. Yeah, we've piled in loads and loads of the unique buildings, but it hasn't really massively increased the amount of tourists we're getting, obviously, to fill up all these hotels. I think just cutting down the amount of squares we've got zoned by replacing them with buildings and things. I think that's having more of an effect than anything, rather than the buildings drawing in extra tourists, more than the game would normally allow. It takes up some space. Adds some variety of the city. Got these nice interesting buildings in, even if it's not really helping us get rid of the negative icons. So I guess we'll line this area with offices to create a bit of barrier for the sound from all our unique buildings. And then over the other side of the large road we can start with some new housing. With our population growth sort of evening out, I think it wants us to zone more houses. Certainly have plenty more room, both on the other side of Sports Monkey Square, where we never really finished off putting in houses, and over the other side of this tile. We have got some noisy stuff in here, but if we line it all with commercial and then some offices, we'll be able to sort of contain all the noise. And a layer of offices around all our unique buildings on the top of this tile. And we should be fine to get houses in. Can maybe try again with our building themes for our districts. Maybe get some UK buildings in here. Try that out, see how it goes. Hopefully more successful than putting in the Chinatown district. Get some small roads in. Sort of break this up a bit. Make it more zoning ready. We don't have to make it super tight zoning. We're not really trying to go for the million population, so we're free to make it look neat and tidy, without the aim of trying to cram in as many people as possible. And go a bit easier on it. Now that we passed the 500,000 target. I've never known anyone actually get to the 1,000,000. The game, I think it allows sort of 1,200,000 or 264,000 citizens, but it counts the seagulls as citizens, and it counts the cars as citizens. So in reality, the number of your actual population only gets up to 900 and something thousand, and the rest of it gets maxed out with other things that aren't population but count as citizens. I know you can get a mod to take away the seagulls, but I kind of like seagulls. In my city, the seagulls are massive. They're like mutants. They're all super well fed on takeaways and rubbish. Whenever I see a picture of a seagull from another place, it's always smaller. The ones I see around here attack people for their food and things. Swoop down from directly above so you don't see them coming. And bite you in the hand, knowing that you'll drop your food on the ground and you won't pick it up if it's sort of unwrapped food. And then they can eat it at their own speed, knowing that you're not going to fight them for it after you've dropped it. It's pretty clever. Cleverer than you would give a bird credit for. So yeah, they're monsters around here, the seagulls. But seeing them in City Skylines, you know, feels more like home. If I got rid of them altogether, I'd miss them. So I'll get small roads in here. As I say, we're going to sort of fill up this space with zoning, get more residential in here. I'm not trying to cram people in and maximise the space 100%. Go a bit easier on them and leave some gaps. Just want to make a vaguely interesting, vaguely symmetrical layout. We can make sure there's tube network and everything for them later. Focus on getting the area set up. I'll try out this other district. Pop in some garbage services. I've got a complaint, but I think that's another house spawning behind that house again, like we saw before. Strange behaviour. But we'll get a couple of extra incinerators in, why not? Can't hurt. Yeah, I think once all our offices grow in, we'll successfully have that barrier to protect from all this noise coming from all this noisy stuff. Maybe need to turn up the demand master, maybe just on the industrial, just to force the offices to come in faster. We'll look at placing a couple of the extra unique buildings while we're waiting. There's a few good spaces we can fit things in. I do like to get things in on crossroads. Maybe get it in over here. Crazy building in. It's odd architecture. Don't think it's a seaside building. It's a bit large. This is where we've got our houses. We don't want to put it in here. Get it perfectly in between these two. That is a bunch of unique buildings all in a row. I'm not sure we want to do that. Might want to space things out a little better. Get everything in, see what we're working with. And again, we can move the smaller things into the zone if we need to replace some of the hotels if we have too many. There are still complaint icons, so do still need to trim things back a bit. Definitely getting a more interesting skyline. All these taller buildings. Maybe actually trim back the area. Done that already, but can maybe do it again. To just straight up remove some of the hotels. Trim it back from sort of all sides. All the business still sort of spread out. Leave the ones that we want to keep. Want to keep the connection so it doesn't become two separate lots of zoning, two separate districts. So we'll trim it down, but make sure we're keeping it all one big district for Saggy Hills. This back so it's just along the road opposite the colossal offices. It's a pretty savage trimming, but if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. I want to get rid of all the complaints so everything's perfectly balanced. Doesn't even have to be full. I mean, we can completely rework some areas, remove small roads and take out zoning and pop in big parks and things. The world is our oyster. Do whatever we want. Ideally, I'd like to sort of retain the same formation. Just switch out little bits of zoning. I think our specialist industrial is working not bad. Little bits, it's in that there's not enough customers, but we can change it over for offices. I think offices are the way forward. Seems to be no complaints when we're putting in offices. Just need to turn up the demand, I think, to get them to all grow in faster since we're zoning so much. I'm gonna move a couple of these smaller buildings over directly to where we've got the complaints and try and replace those buildings. Saying about the hotel. Can get it in over here. It's a bit of a crush. It's out of the district as well, because the district's so small now. Again, we're going to replace some things for the offices. Getting a whole load of offices. Like we said before, once we got our monument in, the Hadron Collider, meant that everyone was highly educated. They prefer jobs in offices. They don't really want to work on farmland. Not when they've got the skills to work in IT or something. So little patches. As I say, I don't think we're far off a good balance. Probably got too many offices in over here. Can hollow out this area a little bit. Put something more interesting there. Maybe another unique building. Put this up to full. Just to force the offices to come in as fast as possible. And we can create that barrier. We can get the residential in. Like I say, once that all comes in, hopefully that'll protect for all the noise and separate the two areas. A little bit of zoning along here. Maybe get some more houses along this side. We can check for these buildings, make sure for noise pollution. It's a library and a school. Don't think the noise from the assets across the other side of the river is going to stretch over here. Not sure about that unique building. I think that's noisier than the ferry terminal. Maybe get a parking lot in here. Then we can lead our zoning down to there. That's hopefully far enough away from everything. So if they do want houses and they do want to build in residential, they can do it there. Don't know if they've got any commercial to fill in. Maybe move a few unique buildings and replace that zoning with commercial. As long as it's not the specialist stuff. If we're hollowing out things that are out with our specialist areas. See where we can move these things to. Be good if this could slot in somewhere. Oh, it will. Can take up a few of these buildings that are complaining. That's a bit better. See if we can do the same with this one. Good if we could get in on this corner, but out of the room. Get it in over here. Yeah, we'll just keep moving things around. Okay, move this one. Get this next to the center buildings. That looks better in amongst buildings of its size. Apollo Hotel is small enough, we can move it into the zone a bit. Take up some of those other hotels. Our center for space. Maybe get that moved up here. Take up a few of these buildings. And we'll replace these bits with our high density commercial. Say most of it's not in the specialist district anymore. Fill in this area as well. Just with normal shops. Maybe provide customers to these guys across the road. The zoning doesn't seem to be deleting the old stuff to let the new stuff come in. Don't want to go around and manually delete things. It's a funny behaviour. Normally if you dezone something or change the zoning, all the buildings disappear pretty much straight away. But not right now. They seem to be hanging around and not disappearing when we change or remove their zoning. Oh well, just another strange behaviour to add to the list. So we'll come back next time and pick up where we left off, keep making little tweaks. until then, take it easy. I'll see you in the next one.